Hey, Laura J here at Woodlawn today, where art is just part of what we get to fart around with. And it's day 5 of November and the 66 Days to Transform Your Self-Image series that I am working on for your benefit, because the transformation of self-image is an internal process that also has an external component that I don't think we've been considering in the way that would benefit us most too, which is what I want to do with you through this process and this series. So I was having a conversation with some of the other folks that are here at Woodlawn this morning while we started our day, and had conversation in company of fellow souls who are just spectacular people generally. And I found it so interesting that conversations led to pointing out the importance of nakedness and being real. And it's important to really feel into boundaries of a personal nature, but then to also start to recognize the social nature as well. To change the lighting and to say that when we are fighting ourselves publicly, we have a ripple effect on those who love us. And that is a really terrifying proposition for some, especially those with anything to lose. So it is important to really be mindful of the fact that during the transformation of self-image, when we are in the valley of transformation and we go through the trials and tribulations that see us face off with ourselves in the end, that's what the dark light fight of the soul after the dark night of the ego is about. As we become more whole because we call back more soul fragments that come back to us in the phoenix process, which is the death and rebirth we go through before integrating the lessons we learned from the experiences, which is necessary in order to extract the energies in motion that our emotions are from those memories. We don't need to keep our energy in the memory. We need to extract it, like if we were sifting through all the rock, rubble, and debris of the past, or literally debris, to find the gems and gold within that which is in the ground, buried under all of the stories that get piled on top of one another as we go through the sacred sojourn of the soul. The sacred sojourn of the soul requires us to embody a new energetic signature so we can contribute back the wisdom gained from the journey lived. Lived is devil backwards, and we've got to see that there is no devil outside of me, and the same is true for thee as well, because the devil in me is the one who lived backwards, the one who didn't honor my soul in order to become more whole, but instead chose the false idols and worship of that outside of myself that does not make me more whole, but only a hue of me. Which is why the humanism initiative is actually, or the humanism philosophy itself, is where the whole fount of the lies began to an extent. And that's what I've been tracing back. And the conversations here this morning were reminders of the need to really be clear about how the changing of our identity impacts those who love us, and that might really want us to stay as we were because that was who they knew us to be, and they knew how to interact with the dysfunctions that we had inside of us, because so did they generally. And so if we see the way that we have been dropping knees to be knighted by those who have received a title, status, or personage to change their identity and sense of self, personal identity that created a one-dimensional label or identity for us to check the box of, these are the things that change us. And when we are changed, well, that is when we start to blame others for the wildness that we think should be other than, where things have been left, because that's how you grab apples, which is so cool. And I'm just really actually enjoying this moment right now as I walk through a path so abundant as to have apples on the ground, the fallen apples. Oh my God, okay. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I want to keep it short and sweet, under 10 minutes for sure. But right before I came to write a blog, which then I saw I needed to just turn this into the vlog 4, which is what this is. So thank you for enjoying the experience. And this is how I grow the Peaceful Inner Warriors United YouTube channel as well. So make sure you're subscribed, and know that I smile when you share this message with someone you dare to care enough about to send to. So if you received this, know the one that sent it to you is someone who believes in you and wants you to do the best that you can to be more authentically you. And I said to Jordy before I came in to make this, and then turned on my heel and walked back outside, where I then started to record. And I said I would be going to do this, and he said, have fun writing your blog. And I thought, wow, how interesting that we live in a reality where I can leave, a reality where I live, in order to be in a fictitious version of reality in the virtual one I'd be writing on, to then publish in an online forum, which is what the Romans used to use as the gathering place or marketplace, to be able to sell our ideas, which have become the ideologies that we have begun shaping our identities based on. And with all of that said, I turned to him and also just said, wow, isn't that a little ironic to actually be going into a virtual reality to talk about the reality that we are living, which is the real thing compared to the replicated version of the real thing, which is what a virtual or paperwork version of reality or identity is. We've got to better understand domains and dominion and the difference between them, not just in the lettering, for dominion is longer because it has more responsibility attached to it. But then we pick up our coffee and we carry on, and we say that it is time for us to merge realities in a way that we haven't before, because we didn't know how to play at the level of reaching for apples all the time when we find where we want to be positioned, because the Creator chose where to put you for best performance and effect. So that is fun. And what I want to say is that we need to be really intentional about where we're willing to put our energy moving forward, because magic is simply image with a C instead of an E. Image and magic, did you ever see it? Well, now you have. And so you don't need to see it again. You can say, I saw it before and I know more. So I'm going to go and say thank you for playing along with this series, and ultimately recognize that amazing people are in your life and mine, and we are the ones that need to see that we are the ripple that impact others when we actually go through manic or grandiose experiences, you see. It's important to recognize that we can't harm those that we love the most as we move through things internally, because it does impact those that love us externally too. And it's not fair to make it all about us, which is where the conversation that I just had started, which is going to be food for another day. For this one was just to say it's day 5 of the 66 days to transform your self-image, and you are the Magi of your own realms. Keep it real.